guys, welcome in or welcome back to my channel, Home with Chisty T. I'm Chisty T, and of course I'm excited to be sharing today's video with you guys. We are obviously doing DIYs if you can't tell from the title, so let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so this first project is one that I've really been looking forward to, and this is something that is perfect for anybody's home and anyone's style. So if you are looking for home decor books or even coffee table books to style your home, which is something that I love to have, which as you can see I have a little small collection, I want you to know you can DIY it yourself. So this project is super cool and super fun to do, and honestly really easy. I did get this idea from @TinaLee, I believe is her channel. I will leave it linked down below. She did something similar to style her Billy bookcase shelves that she recently put in her home, and I really wanted to try this project out for myself, but instead of using a hardcover book, I ended up using old magazines that I had. So let's get into this. So guys, one thing about this project is, like I said, this is using old magazines. So I did get these magazines from Restoration Hardware because obviously, why not? They do ship these out for free. So if you go over onto their website and click, I think it's like catalog or something like that, I'll try to leave the link down below. You can request to have their magazines shipped to you for free, and they're pretty thick, as you will be able to see in this project. And I just used 2 of them and stacked them together to create this overall look. Now, the really great thing about this is because this is really affordable. Think about it, you're getting those magazines for free, and if you don't plan to actually have this book open or anything like that, you can use any thick magazines that you like. You can stack it as high as you like, as little as you like. I really wanted just like a medium-sized thickness on my book for display purposes, but you can feel free to customize this to however you'd like to have it displayed in your home. Alright guys, for this project you will need a few items, which I will be leaving linked down below for you guys. But first off are these particle board pieces. Now I picked these up from Daiso, but if you don't have access to a Daiso, I will be leaving links from Amazon that you can pick up. And then second is going to be a hot glue gun. I'm using this one because it is great for fabric and any kind of other material as well. And then the next item is an X-Acto knife or any type of sharp knife cutting tool to cut your chipboard, and then also a cutting board itself. This is just going to help to protect your surface that you are making your cuts on. And then the last 2 items that you will need for sure are going to be a ruler. This is just going to help you get straight edges, and then also a standard glue stick. So for this next part, we are just going to go ahead and use those particle chipboard pieces that we have, and we're going to go ahead and trace out the height of the binding that we're going to create. Now I'm just using 2 pieces, but once again, tailor this to however your magazines and or book are set up. If you are using a hardcover book, then you can skip this entire step, but since if you are not, like I am not, we're going to just go ahead and trace that same pattern out onto the second chipboard piece. And then once we have both lines traced, we're going to go ahead and cut those with our X-Acto knife. Make sure you are being careful and watching your fingers, because I did almost cut myself twice. So now that our binding was cut, we were able to go ahead and move on to making the cover of the book itself. Now for mine, I did test 2 options out, which is this first option here using the vertical method, but then I decided later on to go ahead and do the horizontal way. I really just like having the actual pressure point, which is like where it could possibly bend, like in the center and less like right on the edge, and then this gave me the exact overhang that I wanted. Now the next step was to go ahead and tape these together. Now that is one product I did not mention in the beginning, but I will have linked down below, is that I did use packaging tape, which is this craft packaging tape, to tape these together. Now I repeated this step to make 4 actual sheets of these, and then you can customize this to however you desire your book to be thick. Once again, if you are using a hardcover book, then you do not have to do this step. But if you're going to, I recommend at least doing 2 sets of sheets for front and back of your new coffee table book. So once you have assembled all of your pieces, you can go ahead and tape those together using your craft tape to create this same layout that you see here, binding in the center and front and back pages attached to that. And then now we're going to go ahead and take our 2 magazines. Once again, if you are using a hardback book, you don't need to do this step, but using your 2 magazines, or if you're using one, then obviously adjust accordingly. But I'm going to stack those together, make sure that the depth of my book is correct, everything is lining up perfectly, and then we're going to go ahead and glue these together using that glue stick that I mentioned in the beginning. I wouldn't recommend using a hot glue or any super thick glue because you're going to see that texture on your pages, which is something I didn't want. But if you are using just 1 magazine or something like that, then you don't need to do this step at all either. But since I wanted to have a seamless connection between the 2 magazines to make it seem like it was one book, I'm going to go ahead and glue the back of the first magazine and the front of the second magazine together. Now, for the sake of this video, I went ahead and pre-cut my fabric to the size of my frame of my book that I'm laying out here, but if you need to pause, feel free to go ahead and do that. But I'm going to go ahead and move on. So I went ahead and slit the sides of my book, which is something I highly recommend to prevent any bulking. And then this here is optional, but it's something that Tina did in her video. Once again, check that out, link down below. She added this like texture on the side to create it like a ribbed look. Some books do have this, which is a feature that I like and I really want to have on my book. So I use these wooden dowels and a little bit of hot glue at the top of my book and at the bottom of my book to add a little bit of texture to the spine of my book. So once again, completely optional, but if you want to do that to add a little bit more character, highly recommend go ahead and doing that. So lastly, it was time to go ahead and attach the book to the frame or to the new book cover. And I'm simply go ahead and taking my hot glue gun and gluing a considerable amount of glue down the spine of the frame. And then I'm going to attach that to the book itself. It's one unique, one special. One thing I did go ahead and do with this project that I didn't end up recording on camera is adding a beginning front page, if that makes sense. So like, you know, when you open a book, there's that blank page and then it actually opens to the cover. Well, I did go back and add that later on because I decided I really wanted to have that and make it look a lot more professional, but I did not catch it on camera. But you will see in the final reveal that that is something that I did decide to do. And this was the final reveal. Alright guys, so the next project that I'm sharing with you guys is this beautiful 2-tiered vase. And if you watched one of my previous videos, not the exact last one, but the one prior to that with my thrift finds, then you recognize these 2 items, obviously. And if you haven't watched that video, go check it out up here. I shared some of my recent thrift finds, and now you are seeing the after fact of me reusing those thrift finds. So alright guys, so we're just going to go ahead and get started in this project. I will be leaving everything you need to complete this link down below. So first things first, I wanted to go ahead and figure out my placement for my 2 jars, and then we're going to go ahead and attach those using that same ceramic glue I've been using for the past couple of DIYs. So I actually completed the step before attaching the smaller vase to the bigger vase, which is something I recommend. However, I'm going to go ahead and show you what I ended up doing here, which is using these bamboo dowels that I picked up from Daiso. Now, I do recommend these. However, there is a simpler option, which I know is something they have available in Japan, is those bamboo like kind of screen things that they sell out in town. You can use that to create this shape, and like it'll be a lot easier to attach to your jar. However, I did take the harder route, mostly because I already had these bamboo rods in my stash. So I went ahead and lined out the exact measurement that I wanted for my vase. Once again, customize this according to your desired needs. But I went ahead and did that, and then I went ahead and pre-cut all of my dowels before attaching them. I would have to say that this was the most time consuming part of this project, was attaching all of these wooden bamboo dowels. So that's why I highly recommend, if you have access and want to do the option of the bamboo screen sheet, I recommend using that. I will leave it linked down below for you guys, because this took several hours. As you can see, it started getting dark. So I highly recommend go ahead and doing that. And then this ended up taking a while to dry. So the very next day is when I decided that I wanted to do something else to make this project a little bit more special. So if you can't tell already, I decided to make my vessel into a giant, massive candle. And this was just because, one, I had the supplies on hand to go ahead and do so, and two, I couldn't think of anything else that I really wanted to put in this vase. So feel free to skip the step if you don't want to make a giant candle, but since I did make it, I decided to go ahead and share that process with you guys. So I am using these candle wicks, which I picked up from Amazon. I will leave all of this linked down below for you guys. And then the wick stickers also came with these as well, so don't have to worry about picking up any of those extra. And then I set everything in place using some bamboo rods that I had used previously, as well as my chip bag clips that I have. And these worked out perfectly just to hold all of my wicks in place. I don't normally use these wicks for my business candles. I use wooden wicks, so these were just some I had laying around extra. And obviously we're gonna go ahead and pour that beautiful golden soy wax into this vessel. And guys, this took forever to set up. My candles don't normally take this long to set up, but this one took several hours to set up, and I'm pretty sure it's because of the massive size of it. But I did want to show you guys what that looks like from the side, and then we'll also go ahead and get into this beautiful reveal. And this is the reveal. Tell me guys what you like really about this project. Which one of these were your favorite project? I am trying to decide if at the end I want to like paint the bottom wooden bamboo dowels a different color, but I'm not sure yet because we will be moving and I'm not sure if my decor will stay the same. But comment down below, would you have done anything different with these projects, and which one was your favorite? If you decide to try any of these projects, please don't forget to share them over on Instagram with me at Home of Chisty T. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Alright guys, so that is going to be all for today's video. I do hope that you enjoyed these two DIYs. If you do decide to try any of these out, please don't forget to share them with me over on Instagram at Home of Chisty T. And I'm so excited for the next DIY project that I get to complete. I don't know, I'm just really being in a DIY mood. So stay tuned for what's next to come, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!